Good morning from Mount Rainier. This is Steve with my hiking buddy Chris.
Good morning.
And Gino.
Good morning.
And the three amigos are on the Crystal Peak Trail. And didn't film the intro down below because it's the same trail we were on last week, the first 1.3 miles up to that intersection. Last week we went up to Crystal Lakes. Today we turned to the right and we're going to Crystal Peak, which is back behind me here. And that is it way up there. But we've kind of popped out of the woods here, and we've got this spectacular view of Mount Rainier. And Gino, I'm going to put you on the spot. When we get to the top of Crystal Peak, we can see 6 volcanoes. Name them.
Uh-oh, I'm under pressure now. Baker, Glacier Peak, Mount Adams, Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens, Rainier.
And the one we're looking at, Rainier. Good job, buddy. So just for some info, we started at 5:30. Gino, what time is it now?
6:48.
6:48, good time. We were the first car in the lot. Another car pulled in after us, and we took off. We haven't seen them or heard them. We like to do this one early. As you can see, the Crystal Peak provides quite a shadow, so we're going to be in the shade almost all the way to the summit, I think. And on a clear, nice day like today, that pays dividends. So temperature when we started was about 52, and it's real nice here. Last week we were up here, it was a bit muggy. So we'll check in up the line like we always do. We're going to have views like this most of the morning. So thanks for hiking with us. We're heading up this way. So you've heard the term distracted driving. Well, I think this trail should have a warning, distracted hiking, because as you break out of the trees here, the trail's over to this way, but on your right the whole time is Mount Rainier, and boy, it's tough to keep your eyes off of it and keep your eyes on the trail. So I'm going to call this a distracted hiking trail. Okay, onward and upward. One thing I wanted to mention is this trail makes a very long traverse to the south, which we're on. And we get, I don't know how much further, half mile maybe, and make a 180, turn to the north, and continue our ascent. And then when we turn, of course, instead of being on my right, like it is now, Mount Rainier will be on my left. And it opens up too when we get to the turn. So if you ever hike this trail, very long traverse to the south before you finally turn and head back north toward Crystal Peak. So okay, just a little hiking man Steve tip on the trail. And we've reached the turn. The traverse to the south is complete. We're heading to the north. So Rainier will be on my left. Okay, we're going to take a break here. We'll check in along the way up to the top. We're getting there. Like last year, there's a nice breeze blowing up here on this northerly traverse as we head up to Crystal Peak. There's Mount Rainier. And the three amigos have had someone pass them. Guy about our age, he was hauling. He is actually doing a big loop up to Crystal Peak, over to Chinook Peak, down to Sheep Lake on the PCT, and then the Crystal Lakes Trail back. I think he said it's 12 miles. He said it would take him all day, so he was hauling though, so I don't know if it'll take him all day. Okay, we are trekking along here. I'll check in along the way. Where that sun's hitting is Crystal Peak. We're way down here. We're going to head up, traverse underneath the peak, and then switch back, a couple short switchbacks to the top. So we're getting there. Nice breeze, keeping the bugs down and keeping us cool, let me tell you. A few flowers out this morning, as you can see, some lupin. We saw some paintbrush down below. Speaking of down below, way down below us, that is the White River. We actually started a little bit above that, so you can see this is a trail that gains a lot of elevation as Chris comes up the trail to join me at this viewpoint here. Okay, we got to roll. We've reached the terminus of the northern traverse. And we're going to turn back this way, start some short switchbacks, which will take us up to the top. Steve, hiking man Steve tip 2. When you reach these switchbacks, you're 15 minutes or less from the top. So, done most of your climbing and most of your mileage. Okay, we'll check in when we get to the top. I'm looking to the south and looks like we got some valley fog down there. So we'll see what we can see when we get up to the summit of Crystal Peak. Check in a bit. And we made it. We reached the rocky summit of Crystal Peak. More amazingly, it's 7:45. Last year when Gino and I did this, we didn't get up here till 8 o'clock. So wow, 15 minutes faster. A year older and 15 minutes faster. How about that? Boy, it got warm here in the sun though. Breeze is still blowing, but once you come out the last, I don't know, 200 feet up to the top, you got to scramble up here, and you're in the sun the whole way. It's tough to see, but got some valley fog there, and then way off in the distance there is Mount Adams. I'll zoom in on it. I've got the sun in my viewfinder. But wow. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and then have a snack, definitely some water. Got tuckered out there on that last stretch, and then I'll film some more in a little bit. I've got to shoot Crystal Lakes and some other shots of things up here, give you the lay of the land. So anyway, from the top of Crystal Peak, thanks for hiking with us up this far. This is from the summit of Crystal Peak. We're looking at Mount Rainier. Great view. Told Chris and Gino I think the temperature is probably 10-12 degrees warmer than it was coming up on that those traverses where we were in the shade. Boy, it's really warm up here. Feels good on these old bones. So let's see, I'm going to swing around to the north. Looks like some haze off over the Puget Sound region. Can't see Baker or Glacier Peak. Maybe Eagle Eye Gino can see it. But you're up here, 6,600 feet roughly. A lot of elevation gain, a little over 4 miles up. Okay, I'll pick up filming in a minute. If you could see it through the sunlight, that's Crystal Lakes, the upper lake where we were a week ago today. A little clearer today than it was last week, huh guys?
Yeah.
See if I could zoom in on Mount Adams a little bit for you guys. That's Mount Adams. Eagle Eye Gino has picked out Mount Hood somewhere out on the horizon. Mount St. Helens is over there. Gino actually picked up Baker, and that was, I forgot, it's all the forest fires are up off of Highway 20, so there's a lot of smoke up there today. So that's what we were seeing when I shot up that way. So anyway, 3 amigos, the only guys here. The guy who was ahead of us took off to his next peak, Chinook Peak. So it's kind of nice, just the 3 of us up here on a beautiful Wednesday morning in mid-July. Okay, we'll film in a little bit. From the summit of Crystal Peak, it's time for question and answer period. Gino?
Here we go.
Where does this hike rank among your Mount Rainier hikes?
Well, it's my favorite.
Gino's favorite. Chris, what'd you think of it? Your first time up here?
Fantastic views.
Yeah. You got this 360-degree view. We've got a couple of smaller trees in front of us here, but boy, as you swing around, excuse me, you just have this spectacular, and especially today, guys, we're completely clear. Blue skies, little haze on the horizon from all the wildfire smoke, but couldn't ask for better weather, huh?
Perfect.
Perfection. Okay, we'll film in a little bit before we head down. And then obviously on the way down we're going to have a lot of good views of Rainier, and we're heading down instead of up, so a little easier on the old lungs and legs. Like Gino said, it's tough to leave this spot, but we got to get going back down. So we'll start our journey off at Crystal Peak and take lots of video on the way down while we're out on these open meadows. Okay, we'll check in a little bit. So we're off the summit block, and Hiking Man Steve, tip number 3, probably the toughest stretch of this trail is the last little push up to the summit. It's kind of a scramble, and you got a little bit of exposure on hiker's left going up, so I and everybody else stay far to the right. So just remember that there's a little bit of a scramble, loose rocks, and don't have to use your hands, but take your time going up and especially going down, and you'll be okay. So we came from way, way over there on our northern traverse, and we're going to head down. So what did it take us? 2 hours and 15 minutes up. I'm betting you it's going to take us about an hour and a half down, because this thing is steep and we're going to really motor along here. So we'll check in along the way. Like Gino said, flowers are not at their peak, but we've got quite a bit of Indian paintbrush here in this meadow. Going along here, the orange flower. Okay, I'm going to show you a hiking hazard up ahead here in a little bit. So on the way up on this switchback, you come to these trees that are all kind of lumped together. I jokingly call it a teepee. And yours truly thought, I'll just go sliding by this, and it's a lot lower than I thought. And I smacked my shoulder into this guy here. And we were up at the top, and my shoulder is aching, and I pulled up my sleeve and I sliced it open. You know, the blood's coagulated up here at elevation, but I'm like, why does my shoulder hurt so much? And Gino's like, well, you're all bloody. So anyway, if there's a hiking tip number 4 from Hiking Man Steve, it's make sure you duck. Okay, look at this view. There's the White River, heading up the White River Valley, and there is Mount Rainier. Just a spectacular day. We don't have any clouds around us here. A little worried this morning because the forecasters are saying the Puget Sound area was going to get a lot of clouds and fog, and we had it when we picked up Gino, and then boy, got down past Enumclaw and it just cleared out like this. It's just beautiful. Couldn't ask for anything more. There's the trail up ahead of us. We're going to kind of swing around to the right down there and loop around that shoulder and continue toward the far southern traverse. There's the trail I filmed earlier, and the nice thing about this, we're going to make a right turn for a short stretch, and this is the only part of the Crystal Peak Trail where right in front of you, Mount Rainier. So you don't have the distracted hiking that you do down below or anywhere else on this trail, but it's right in front of us now for this short stretch. Don't have to turn right or left. Check that out. As Gino said about the weather today, it's perfection. Wow, we couldn't ask for a better day. Comfortable temps, nice breeze, keeping the bugs away, keeping us cool. Okay, we'll continue on and complete this traverse, and then we've got the long one this time to the north. On the way in, it's to the south, but what a morning. We've reached the end of the first long traverse, and now we've got the really long traverse going back to Crystal Creek and the trailhead junction with Crystal Lakes. Gino, how far is this traverse, do you think? A mile and a half?
Oh,
mile?
At least a mile and a half.
Yeah, a mile and a half. It's a long one, but we're heading downhill. So, time, Gino?
8:40.
8:40. We haven't seen anybody, and Gino and I were reminiscing about when we did this last year, and we ran into our first set of people probably about halfway back to the creek. So we'll see today. Obviously, the women that were in the parking lot across from us must have gone to Crystal Lakes, and the other gentleman was on his journey of adventure. So we haven't seen anybody yet, and we're back in the shade. We were in the sun for a little bit there, and little warm at spots. We were saying we're glad we're doing this in the morning rather than the afternoon, because
we're shade all the way back.
We're looking west, and you can imagine what it's like afternoon here. It'd be a toasty one. So, okay, we'll check in on the way down. See those flat mountains there? That's Burroughs Mountain. Perhaps we will be there next week.
Corner there in the road.
We will see.
It's right before getting to sunrise.
few stretches of this trail on the way down where we're in the sun, and boy, it is toasty. So pace start early, boys and girls. For the most part, it's been a cool morning, and God, the temperature difference between the sun and the shade is probably 10 to 15 degrees. So we're on our way down on the long traverse, and haven't seen anybody yet, so we'll see. Check in a bit. We're not fully back in the forest yet, but we're in the trees, so we're starting to lose our views of Rainier here as we continue down, so wanted to get a shot of it. So we just crossed Crystal Creek for the first time on this bridge, and we're heading up just this short little rise to the trail junction with Crystal Lakes Trail. It's 9:15 and we are very surprised. We haven't seen one person yet. Just a shock that no one has come our way. We're kind of curious because today's much nicer than a week ago. It's sunny, a bit cooler, no humidity, and last week, if you remember, it was kind of cloudy, humid, and we saw from the two lakes down 38 people. Of course, the majority of those we saw from this trail junction down, so we're going to be curious to see how many we see today. I told Gino and Chris I'm going to be really surprised if we see less with such a nice weather. So we're going to take a break at this junction, and then we'll check in one final time. We'll see you in a bit. We're at the trail junction, a mile and 1.3 miles to go. Gentlemen, it's time for predictions. Last week, we saw 38 people before we got to the car. Gino, today, give me your pick.
I say 10.
10. Chris?
17.
17. I'll go 25. So we'll check in at the bottom and we'll see who's right. 10, 17, and 25, we're on our way down. Hey, this is Steve checking in one final time. I can see the cars on Highway 410. We're getting close to the parking lot. It's about 9:45, so it took us roughly an hour and a half to come down. You can tell how steep it is because it took us 2 hours and 15 minutes going up. But anyway, what a great hike, huh? Real steep getting up there, but boy, are the views worth it. Whoop, as I almost take a tumble here. The hiker count in this stretch from the trail junction to here is only 9 today. We are just shocked. But Gino wins. He had 10. As we approach Crystal Creek, let's see. Next week, I kind of gave it away up above. We're going to go up to Burles Mountain out of Sunrise, also at Mount Rainier. We haven't been up there in a while, and we got smoked out last year, so provided Mother Nature keeps blowing and keeps that smoke away from Rainier, we're going to head up there. So join us next week as we cross Crystal Creek for the last time. I hope you enjoyed this one. As always, thanks for hiking with us. We'll see you next time.